I hate being defensive, don't you? If you're 5 minutes late to a meeting, do you rush in and start explaining to everybody around what happened? Sometimes without anyone even saying anything or accusing you, you just feel this need to defend yourself. You have to explain things and justify your actions. So this week's video is all about that. How can you defend yourself without being defensive? Before we start, let's first understand what defensiveness is. Defensiveness is when you react defensively to criticism. Instead of listening to what the other person has to say and talking it out, you get snappy. You probably give them the silent treatment or even criticize back. So here's some examples of defensive behavior. Giving excuses. This is a classic one. If your boss blames you for a project failing, do you give excuses for why it failed and try to explain why you should not be blamed? Deflect blame. Say you have an argument with your partner. They criticize you for showing up late to an important appointment. You deflect by pointing out something they did wrong. This way you can take the blame off of you and shift the focus to them. Respond dramatically. Let's say you showed up 10 minutes late to work and your boss asked you to be on time for work. Fair request, right? But you respond with, "So you're saying I'm not hardworking?" You make promises you can't keep. Let's say you have a client who wants to know when you'll finish the job. To avoid confrontation, you tell the client that you'll complete the job in 24 hours, even though you know it's not possible. We defend ourselves every day like this. So the question is, how can we defend ourselves without being defensive? The truth is, getting bent out of shape over every small criticism that's thrown your way is not exactly a great quality. So let's talk about 4 things you can try that can help you become a little less defensive. Number 1, own it. Let's face it, we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. If you know you made a mistake, rather than getting defensive and making excuses, accept that you made a mistake. Admitting mistakes or owning up to your shortcomings show character. It also shows humility and can make people respect you more. Defensiveness, on the other hand, can be annoying to the people around you. They might even write you off as difficult or hard to work with. Because of this, they might not be willing to come to you and point out ways you can improve if you constantly make excuses and take things personally. After all, learning from our mistakes helps us grow and become better people. Number 2, listening. This is harder to do than most of us realize. We think we're good at this, but most of us have a really long way to go. I think we all know by now that there's a big difference between hearing someone and actively listening to them. What's the first thing you do when someone criticizes you? Your instinct is to start saying everything that disproves their claims, right? This isn't just you, we all do this. Let's say someone close to you said you're a bad friend. You'll instinctively start rattling off all the ways you've been a good friend to show them they're wrong about you. What if you could stop that and instead actively listen to them? According to an article by the Harvard Business Review, here's how you can become an active listener. Repeat the last few words your friend says to you. Use the, "I'm going to put this in my own words so I understand you." Use nonverbal cues like eye contact, attentive posture, and nodding. Pay attention to the nonverbal cues the other person is giving you. Ask clarifying questions. Don't get distracted. Own up to your mistakes. And especially, don't think of things you can say in your head when the other person is done talking. Stay focused and really listen. This is how you become an active listener and avoid being defensive. This will help you become less reactive and more receptive. Number 3, don't feel attacked. I think part of the reason why so many of us are so quick to defend ourselves in situations is because we feel attacked. If someone says something negative to you, how else are you supposed to feel, right? If the people I work with tell me I'm a bad boss, obviously I'm going to feel like it's a personal attack. I get it, nobody likes to be criticized. It feels terrible. If you're someone who takes things personally all the time and any criticism feel like a personal attack to you, here's a few things you can try. Firstly, you've got to check your ego. We all look at things from our own perspective and how something makes us feel. All that matters is that my feelings were hurt. I feel attacked. Our egos stop us from ever seeing someone else's perspective, even when it's worth considering. Change your expectations. We can't always expect to be liked by everyone in all circumstances. That's life. Instead of feeling attacked, talk to your colleagues about how you can become better. Take the high road. Be the bigger person. Turn the other cheek. You feel attacked? Move past it. I guarantee you it's not worth your time or energy. There's actually a few more things you can try. If you're interested, make sure to watch our video on how not to take things personally. Number 4, don't react. This is probably the best way to limit defensiveness, but it's also the hardest. Like I said earlier, nobody likes criticism. All this talk about criticism helps us grow. It doesn't feel that way in the moment, right? We don't want to admit it, but that's the reality. The best thing to do is to just take a minute and let everything someone is telling you sink in. And if it's possible, listen to what they have to say and walk away to cool off. This way you stop yourself from lashing out and you let your logical side take over. YouTube is a perfect example of this. There's some pretty harsh criticism that comes with the content we create on YouTube or any social media platform for that matter. I remember there was a time initially when I would impulsively just jump in and defend everything. As time went on, I've gotten better at just letting negative comments be and not respond to them. What I realized was I'm never going to be able to meet everyone's expectations. There are times when I can exceed expectations, but let's face it, most times I'm going to fall short. This has helped me tremendously to not react. If it's constructive criticism, I'm all ears. If it's negative criticism meant to be harsh and mean, it's like the saying goes, I let it go like the water off a duck's back. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and click the like button. It's a tremendous help to our channel. And hey, if you know someone who might find this video helpful, please feel free to share it with them. As always, don't forget to spread loving kindness to all beings around you and be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.